d'habitude la réunion à 9h39.
Ouais, l'avais-tu donc fini?
On finit d'habitude.
Adoption de l'ordre du jour, s'il vous plaît.
On s'en a à la maison.
Monsieur Zant?
J'essaie de trouver...
Monsieur le maire, il est cher parce que...
C'est juste ceux qui sont qui ont le papier, nous autres, on n'a pas la résolution.
que l'ordre du jour soit adopté tel que présenté.
Secondé. Monsieur Grimard. Tout le monde en faveur?
Ça va sans dire que
ça va être tel que modifié, oui.
Déclaration pécuniaire.
Monsieur le maire, j'en ai une à 9.1 pour la TVC 22. Ma femme est membre du conseil d'administration, donc je vais devoir me retirer.
9 points.
9.1.
On passe ça? Merci. Délégation présentation. Présentation d'une pétition par M. Sylvain Lavigne au sujet des travaux sur la rue Marcille. M. Lavigne.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Sylvain Lavigne, 3357 chemin Marcille, Bourget. Et j'ai la délégation avec moi ici, qui sont montrés. Je vais la dire en anglais. As stated in the text on the petition, we would like to discuss the 1,100 feet of road with 8 property paying tax on the portion of the road from Leving Road to the end of cul-de-sac in this presentation. That's à Bourget sur chemin Marcel. 1 year of municipality tax revenue on that portion of road would pay for most of the expenditure. The 8 house of this portion of the road contribute more than $32,000 in tax. Approximately 3 years ago, the road base was redone with the inclusion of a geotextile mat. The paving of the portion of the road would be the next step on the improvement of the area. Mobilization is an expensive part of building infrastructure. The equipment would be on site and already doing the work on Marcel and Leving. We were passed over when water service were installed in the area, but are paying high evaluation of tax without receiving more service. Having to maintain this little part of road with the other equipment, greater dust control, gravel in the ditch, would do a saving, you know. And to do like the chip and seal on that, on 1 kilometer, it costs $52,000, and this part of the road is about 1,100 feet, so it's half a kilometer. So what we're asking is to have this little section to be paved at the same time when they do Marcel and
Mr.
Levin
Dodge?
Road.
Yeah, I talked to this gentleman before the meeting, and I had indicated that I was talking to staff this afternoon about this petition, and he's quite right. We are doing work in that area right now, and there's just this one little piece that would finish off that area. It wasn't put in the surface treatment program, but certainly, you know, with council's direction, it could be done. When we closed tenders on this work, I think there was a budget of $500,000, and in just going to round numbers, I think $450,000 is what we had received. So there's $50,000 roughly that's unallocated right now.
So it could be put easily
We
on
could,
that part.
if with council's blessing here, if you were agreed with it, we could amend the surface treatment contract to do this work, and it would finish all the roads in that area. I went over with Richard. Unfortunately, I left my map back.
Because I guess if we leave that little patch, we're gonna have to send a grader every time to fix it and all
Yeah,
this, so
I mean, there's a logic to what's being requested here.
What are we looking at? Like he's saying, it's half a kilometer?
But
You say we
50
have 50 left?
It's
How
about
much?
50, it's actually about $50,000. I mean, I think this gentleman had 52, but you know, we're in the right range, and as it turns out, the unexpended monies that are left in that budget, we
If
could.
we're short 2,000, we'll go around with a little.
We
cup
can
there and
go-
ask everybody
What's
to pitch in a few bucks.
But if council wished,
I'll collect them.
if council concurred, we could certainly modify the contract and include that.
Is everybody agreeing to this?
Well, if we don't cut the curb on St. Joseph, that's extra money. I had to put it in there.
I know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I think we received this
There you go.
petition. and-
Council.
C'est pas une décision finale parce qu'on est à comité plénier, mais on va mandater le staff à ramener.
Ça va être ramené, mettons, à régulière dans 2 semaines pour être accepté, parce que là, on fait rien que discuter, c'est une
Will the wrong guys be there?
I was gonna say, now that's gonna delay, like if this goes down to another meeting, your guys are already there to do the work, does that?
We're sort of laying the gravel down right now.
elsewhere
Yeah. So it's imminent.
You can go ahead with the work anyways, you've got the approval of the council.
Yeah.
We'll just approve it next.
Bring it straight to Régulière?
Well, unless we bring it back to Régulière, I don't know. You wanna make us,
Wait,
Yeah, you need
we'll go ahead.
we'll go ahead,
I
okay.
think
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
We'll just
Yeah,
have
go
a
ahead.
resolution to confirm that.
Yes, it's okay. That was easy?
That was
Thank
good.
you very much for
Okay.
the
Awesome.
obligation.
Please drive carefully on St. Joseph. Lots of cars.
Correspondance, pétition, lettre datée du 29 juin 2017 de 113 Prescott Russell au sujet de leur campagne annuelle.
T'as-tu besoin d'eau?
Soit reçu et déposé, je sais pas.
C'est bien?
Secondé.
Secondé. Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Lettre datée du 13 juillet 2017 des CUPR au sujet de la protection des boisés. Ce qui arrive, c'est que, comme c'est là, c'est le comté qui est la gamme supérieure, qui ont le droit de faire les lois sur les boisés. Si on le veut, on peut juste le demander, puis ils vont nous passer, on pourrait faire des lois pour empêcher certains coupes à blanc. Voilà. En tout cas, fait que là, c'est là. Bien, si on décide dans le futur de demander
C'est une lettre d'information.
mais là, il n'y a rien. Comme c'est là, nous autres, on n'a rien. Excepté pour les arbres en avant sur le. Alors, OK?
Reçu et déposé?
Oui. Secondé, M. Zan?
Oui.
Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Avis de motion. Est-ce qu'il y a période de questions? Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui a des questions? Ça, c'était vite. Rapport des comptes unis. Je sais qu'on s'en va en mots la semaine prochaine. J'ai mentionné ce matin comme quoi que la 17 se faisait élargir
Ça, c'est à toi,
à un per heure.
C'est ton nom.
Et puis que
C'est ton
on va essayer de rencontrer le nouveau ministre de l'Environnement pour voir si finalement quelqu'un va nous trouver cette étude-là. Ça va être à voir. La semaine prochaine, à Meaux, on va forcer pour voir le ministre, mais comme c'est là, a été refusé d'avoir une rencontre avec le ministre. Fait que, on va pousser M. Crack pour
Quel ministre?
le nouveau d'environnement là, qui a pris la place à Murray. Ouais. Oui, monsieur.
Avez-vous une idée au niveau de l'expansion de la 174 à partir de Canaan? On parle de HOV, on parle de 3 lignes. Je pense que tout ce qu'on a parlé, même à huis clos, on a-tu une idée quand est-ce que ça peut déboucher, ce 3 lignes-là?
Comme c'est là, il faut faire approuver l'étude d'environnement.
OK.
Il n'y a rien qui va grouiller sans ça. On a essayé de la faire séparer en deux, notre côté, leur côté. Le ministre a dit non, c'est une étude qui a été faite pour le tout, ça reste ensemble.
Fait qu'on attend après ça.
Là, ils viennent de changer de ministre.
Ah,
M. Murray il résigne comme ministre, il résigne de toute la politique, puis il s'en va dans l'Ouest. On en a un nouveau. J'ai appelé M. Grant Crack 2 fois depuis l'annonce. J'ai annoncé que le ministre s'en allait. Il ne savait pas. C'était très fort. Et puis, là, j'ai demandé si on pouvait rencontrer, que je ne voulais pas attendre une autre année pour avoir l'étude environnementale approuvée. Aujourd'hui, quand j'ai appris qu'on avait approuvé le 4 lignes à 1 per heure sur la 17, j'ai appelé M. Grant Crack 2 fois. Il n'a pas retourné mon appel. Je vais continuer à le rappeler demain. Et si un jour, on va le rencontrer, parce que la semaine prochaine, il va être à Hameau. Et de là, ben, on va avoir une discussion.
OK. Merci.
À part de ça, c'est tout. Rapport des comités. Oh, celle-là, je pense qu'on devrait refuser avant de commencer. demande de TVC 22
J'aimerais ça.
pour l'utilisation de locaux au Centre des Arts. Madame Simard, vous voulez lire?
Ville, arts, faut que je pense que lui, bon. Qu'il soit résolu que le comité plénière recommande au Conseil municipal d'adopter un règlement afin d'autoriser le directeur des services communautaires à signer l'entente de location de centre des arts de la culture avec TVC 22 pour la période du 1er janvier 2018 au 31 décembre 2027 et qu'il soit résolu que le comité plénière recommande au Conseil municipal que TVC 22 soit responsable de payer la totalité de la facture des services publics pour l'édifice pour la durée de l'entente et qu'il soit résolu que le comité plénière recommande au Conseil municipal de prendre en considération l'ajout d'un projet capital lors du processus budgétaire 2018 afin de procéder à l'installation d'une fournaise de gaz naturel à l'intérieur du centre des arts, tel que recommandé.
Secondaire. M. Laverre. Question? M. Zan.
Juste une petite question, M. Boucher. C'est votre réponse, c'est ça?
Oui.
Vous avez mentionné à un certain point que les coûts d'hydro étaient 6 000 $.
Oui.
Est-ce que c'est par mois ou par année?
Non, le coût d'hydro présentement de l'édifice est environ 6 000 $. Par contre,
Par année?
Oui, par année. Par contre, cet édifice-là est chauffé électrique. Ça fait que dans notre recommandation, nous voulons changer au gaz naturel. Nous, on se fait responsable de l'installation d'une fournaise au gaz naturel qui réduirait les coûts d'énergie de quelques milliers de dollars par année.
OK. Mais là, si je regarde les chiffres en bas, scénario actuel et scénario selon l'entente proposée, le 6 000 $, est-ce qu'il est inclus dans les chiffres?
Dans le scénario présentement, là,
Actuel,
le centre nous coûte 6 500 $ par année. Comme c'est là, avec notre budget d'opération et les revenus de location qu'on a, il nous coûte 6 500 $ à la cité.
Okay.
Le scénario, selon l'entente proposée, le budget d'opération serait 2 000 $ puisqu'il absorberait les frais d'électricité et les frais de chauffage.
Okay.
À ce moment-là, il coûterait à la cité 200 $ par année opérer le centre.
C'est beau. Merci beaucoup.
On aurait une économie de 4 300 $ par année.
Je pense qu'on ne laisse pas Stéphanie parler bientôt. Là, envoyez fort, madame.
Donc, bonjour. Donc, vous savez que je suis le directeur général de TVC 22. Donc, comme vous savez, on a fait la demande pour avoir un meilleur remplacement, pour représenter, pour avoir un studio de tournage qui va être accessible à toute la population et qui va être gratuit pour tout le monde. Donc, la proposition à M. Boucher, elle est très bonne, puis on est vraiment reconnaissant parce que c'est quand même quelque chose qui était juste. Comme vous avez pu constater dans l'annexe que je vous ai envoyé, la seule chose que je demandais, c'est juste de tenir en compte que pour une organisation à but non lucratif, juste changer mes lieux pour cet endroit-là, ça va me demander 45 000 $ d'investissement. Donc, c'est quand même un gros montant. Donc, on vous avait fait des scénarios qui pourraient peut-être nous aider là-dedans. On est ouvert aussi à d'autres scénarios qui pourraient nous laisser peut-être un temps pour...
Mais comme là, les scénarios, ça devrait être envoyé à M. Boucher.
On les a reçus,
sont annexés à vos rapports.
Ce n'est pas les scénarios que nous, on veut envisager. Mais c'est
Non.
le Conseil à nous donner une direction.
Non, c'est ça. Donc, donc c'est ça. Donc, dans l'annexe, on mentionne ça parce que c'est quand même un gros investissement. Puis c'est pas quelque chose que je peux dire, je vais le retarder l'année d'après. Parce que c'est des choses comme un système de diffusion, juste changer la fibre optique pour se rendre là-bas, c'est quelques milliers de dollars. Juste changer l'électricité de tout ça pour adapter juste le système de diffusion en tant que tel, c'est quelques milliers de dollars, plus faire les ajustements pour vraiment permettre l'endroit qui est très vivable, mais qui n'est pas adapté pour TVC 22 en ce moment. Ça va coûter, on estime, autour de 45 000 $. Donc, ça ne dérangerait pas d'assumer les coûts. C'est vraiment mais on aimerait ça savoir si on ne peut pas avoir peut-être un délai ou être reporté. Puis ça peut être ajouté dans le contrat, ça va me faire plaisir.
Suzanne?
Juste une petite question.
Oui.
Est-ce que les autres villes qui ont des postes
Oui.
de TVC, est-ce que ces postes-là sont subventionnés aussi, ou est-ce qu'ils ont des locaux donnés à frais réduits? Juste pour
Oui.
comparer, parce que je
Il y en a
ne suis pas
certains,
partout
oui.
au Québec non plus. Là, c'est juste
La plupart qui sont comme nous, parce
Oui.
que nous autres, on est une télévision indépendante. On n'en a pas vraiment en Ontario. Ils sont tous au Québec. Moi, je me suis déjà renseignée, puis il y en a au moins une quinzaine de municipalités qui appuient ces télévisions-là.
OK.
De cette façon-là. Il y en a qui l'offrent totalement gratuit, il y en a qui l'offrent à un taux réduit, il y en a qui les aident de quelconque façon. Je sais que vous aidez déjà de quelconque façon. C'est juste que ça va être un gros coût.
Ouais.
Puis autant qu'au niveau budgétaire, on a encore d'autres choses à investir pour rendre la télévision comme elle est supposée de devenir, parce qu'il y a eu un gros manque à gagner pendant les quelques dernières années. Donc, on est encore en train de reprendre notre souffle.
Monsieur Boucher, est-ce qu'il y a de la flexibilité de ce que Madame a proposé de peut-être étendre ça?
En tant que directeur de service communautaire, ce qui est dur à moi de justifier leur demande à aucun frais, c'est que, par exemple, je vais vous donner l'exemple des optimistes de Rockland, où ce qu'eux utilisent un petit local qui est vraiment pas à jour, c'est sous-sol, puis on leur charge un loyer de 800 $ par année. Les optimistes de Saint-Pascal, qui remettent tout en communauté eux aussi, paient un loyer. L'association du soccer mineur, qui s'occupe de tout notre soccer, paie un loyer pour leurs locaux. Ça fait que pour nous, en tant que service communautaire, nous appuyons complètement leur service et nous reconnaissons aussi l'importance de leur service. Par contre, nous trouvons ça injuste de les traiter différemment des autres associations.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup.
C'est le point de vue du service.
Merci, monsieur.
Est-ce que je peux rajouter quelque
Dans les
chose?
commentaires.
Oui. Bien, c'est écrit dans l'annexe. C'est juste qu'il faut mentionner que autant que je suis un organisme à but non lucratif, je n'ai pas le même mandat que ces organismes organisés-là. Donc, on s'entend pour dire qu'au niveau monétaire, tout ce qu'eux ont à dépenser, totalement pas la même chose. Moi, au niveau des dépenses, j'ai beaucoup de dépenses affiliées avec tout ce qui est équipement mobile, le système de diffusion, programme, et etc. Donc, il y a un gros pressure, comme j'entends souvent M. Kio dire, à ce niveau-là. Donc, c'est un peu difficile de me comparer avec un autre organisme à but non lucratif. Il faut vraiment... Je suis un service que j'offre à la population, puis je leur charge rien. Donc, à ce niveau-là, il faut juste prendre ça en considération. Je ne peux pas redonner mon argent, mais je peux redonner mon service, par exemple, à la communauté. Donc, puis, si vous voulez d'autres choses, je suis ouverte à la négociation. Il n'y a absolument aucun problème là-dessus. Je parle beaucoup. Okay, si vous avez d'autres questions, allez-y.
Est-ce qu'il y a des questions? Écoutez, comme c'est là de vous dire qu'on peut le faire ou qu'on ne peut pas le faire, c'est quelque chose qu'il faut que ce soit regardé au budget. Ça va être envoyé au département de finances, voir qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire. Et puis, c'est eux autres qui vont avoir les réponses. Comme c'est là, on ne va pas vous donner une réponse comme c'est là. Et puis, ils vont le donner. On vous laissera savoir qu'est-ce qu'il y en a. À soir, on peut approuver toute cette partie-là. Oui.
Comment on va les pourparlers avec Eastlink à ce que le plus de la population ait accès à la TVC 22?
Comment qu'ils y vont? Ils vont comme ça va avec une grande entreprise qui va avec ça. Mais c'est un dossier que ça fait 1 an que je travaille dessus, puis je vais travailler dessus jusqu'à temps que j'aie des réponses à ce niveau-là. Donc, au niveau de l'accès pour la population, moi, mon but, c'est éventuellement de l'avoir pour tout le monde dans la câbleau-distribution. Dans le satellite, je ne peux pas rien faire, malheureusement.
Je dois poursuivre, M. le maire. Moi, j'ai le TVC 22 avec les je dois dire que c'est quand même indispensable pour la population à ce qu'il va le futur avec Eastlink ou quoi que ce soit. Et puis, je pense que depuis les dernières années, depuis que L'administration a changé avec TVC 22, la programmation a changé, la qualité de l'image a changé.
Il n'y a pas une question de ça, M. Levert.
Non, absolument pas, mais c'est pour ça que j'aimerais que les gens du Conseil qui n'ont pas TVC 22, qui n'ont pas accès à TVC 22, peut-être que c'est juste pour éclairer.
Parce que je pense qu'il faut penser aussi, comme M. Boucher a dit, il faut penser aux autres qui payent quelque chose.
C'est pas juste ça aussi. On avait dit non à 600 $ pour mettre une toilette au parc des Champs parce qu'on n'avait pas de l'argent dans le budget. Alors, c'est juste pour mentionner aussi
C'est pour ça que je pense qu'on devrait regarder au budget, revenir avec une réponse. Si à soir, on peut à soir accepter cette résolution ici, puis si ça fait le bonheur, bon.
Vous l'avez voulu tantôt. Vous
Est-ce qu'on l'a lu tantôt?
Conseil de l'approuver.
Oui, M. Boucher.
Monsieur Matt, si je peux renchérir pour le fait de TVC 22, eux, ce qu'ils demandent, c'est pouvoir appliquer pour des subventions pour pouvoir leur aider à aménager le centre. Ça, si on a une décision de la municipalité où il n'y aurait aucun impact budgétaire actuel, qu'on endosserait leur projet et puis qu'on arrive à une entente de dire, exemple, si le Conseil est d'accord que pour le budget de l'an prochain, qu'on opère au même type de budget qu'on a là, par contre, au bout d'un an, vous deviez payer le loyer, etc. À ce moment-là, il n'y a pas d'impact sur notre budget opérationnel actuel. Par contre, eux, entre-temps, peuvent appliquer pour des demandes de subventions pour faire accélérer leur processus de mettre à jour leurs installations et leurs équipements. Comme c'est là, tant et aussi longtemps qu'on n'a pas une entente de principe en place, ils ne peuvent pas appliquer pour leur aider à subvenir à leurs besoins.
Mr. Kyo.
Monsieur le maire, je suis d'accord avec M. Boucher. Il devrait avoir tous les coûts dans son budget. Lui, il loue des édifices, des locations. Il devrait charger le public. Si le Conseil veut donner un subsidy, ils peuvent le faire. Je pense que c'est dans le budget de Diane qui a un engagement avec TVC. Elle peut avoir dans son budget un subsidy qui donne à TVC si le Conseil le veut. Mais il devrait le faire dans un autre budget.
Moi, j'ai pas de problème avec celle-là. C'est juste quand elle a mentionné le 45 000 que j'ai.
Ah oui, c'est 45 000 qui pense qu'il fait peur à tout le monde.
Ouais, moi, j'ai
Mais moi, je
aucun
ne demande
problème
pas
avec.
personne à 45 000. C'est ce que j'assume, moi.
OK.
C'est un investissement que nous, on va mettre pour TVC 22. Donc, ça, on le demande à nulle part, à personne. Puis, ça n'a pas rapport avec aucune des subventions que je vais demander. Mais ça, c'est pour rendre les choses opérationnelles.
Oui, M. Boucher, vous t'aider.
Vas-y, M. Boucher. C'est juste que j'essaie de.
Pour enchérir ce qu'elle dit, l'aménagement de l'endroit même, c'est eux qui vont être responsables des frais reliés à aménager le centre. Le centre existe déjà comme une coquille. Eux, ils veulent faire une petite cuisine pour avoir accès. Ça, eux vont assumer ces frais-là. Il n'y aura aucun frais à la ville en infrastructure pour aménager pour eux. Par contre, moi, ce que j'avais inclus à l'intérieur de ça, c'est qu'eux assumaient une portion de loyer pour une fois qu'ils vont être installés sur les lieux. C'est la seule portion du loyer que j'assumais.
Là, je comprends un peu mieux. J'ai aucun problème.
Là-dessus, un collègue de voter là-dessus, ça ne coûte pas de scène.
Non.
Comme c'est là, ça ne coûte pas de scène. Par contre, dans la résolution, on dit qu'on devrait leur charger un loyer éventuellement. Des frais d'opération.
Éventuellement.
Mais ce n'est pas un loyer qu'on leur charge. On leur dit tu dois payer l'électricité et tu dois payer le gaz naturel. C'est ce qu'on leur dit.
Avec ça.
C'est ça qu'elle demande qu'on demande.
Pour un an.
C'est ça, peut-être un an ou deux, ou peu importe, simplement pour nous laisser le temps, de voir comment ça va coûter, parce qu'au niveau budgétaire, pour un organisme à but non lucratif, c'est pas évident de le savoir. Deuxièmement, pour rentrer aussi la fournaise de gaz naturel que M. Boucher veut mettre dans le budget.
C'est nous qui
Oui, il va le rentrer, mais c'est parce que ça va coûter moins cher aussi de cette façon-là. Donc,
Vous allez sauver beaucoup.
oui, absolument. Donc, c'est pour ça que... c'est pour ça.
Si on disait, mettons, qu'on charge sur les dépenses pour un an, s'il arrive de quoi, ben, tu reviendras.
Oui, mais c'est pas juste aux autres là, qu'on leur charge des loyers aussi.
Mais comme
C'est juste pour
pas pareil comme les...
C'est juste pour les partir, parce que là, ils changent de place.
En tout cas, c'est beau.
Je dirais pour un an, avec des aides après ça. On va avec ce que M. Boucher dit.
On dit à
Par
quoi?
contre, si le conseil est d'accord à entériner ce que j'ai recommandé, je pourrais le mettre à l'intérieur de l'entente. À partir du 1er janvier 2019, ils devront assumer tous les frais reliés aux opérations régulières telles que l'électricité, gaz naturel, etc.
OK.
J'aime ça.
Fait qu'on
OK,
change
c'est
la
bon.
date de 2018
18 à 2019.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Je suis d'accord.
Moi aussi, j'ai bien compris.
Oui. OK. Tout le monde en va? Merci. Y a-t-il quelqu'un qui peut rappeler M. Wake him up! Entente de location pour le chalet de service de Bourgette. Madame Simard?
Whereas Legal de la Nation has occupied the building at 17 Levine Street in Bourget for the last 5 years, and whereas Legal de la Nation is a non-profit organization that works directly with community groups, and whereas the building is of no use for community services, but the committee of the whole recommends that council adopt a bylaw to authorize the director of the community services to sign an agreement with Legal de la Nation for the rental of the building as recommended.
Secondé. Monsieur Lalonde, comment? Question? En faveur? Merci.
Oui, je voulais juste vous dire que ceci, c'est un groupe communautaire qui doivent assumer tous les frais reliés à cet édifice. Ça fait que les coûts de la nation doivent payer l'électricité, doivent payer l'entretien de cet édifice.
Merci, M. Boucher.
Ça va être à l'autre point, ça.
Il est correct de nous le dire.
Procédure de
C'est bien
contrôle
noté.
budgétaire pour les contrats. M. Lalonde.
Que le comité plénière recommande au Conseil d'adopter des procédures de contrôle budgétaire telles que décrites dans le rapport Info 2017-43.
Secondaire. Josane. Question? Allez-y, M. Bonneval.
Je pense à bien de M. Dark.
Oui.
I agree. I think this is a very request that is proposed. I just want to be clear though. This should only be applied to large projects that are going to have a duration of 2 weeks or more. Small projects, you don't need to apply this to.
No.
Okay.
Principally your larger projects, and I guess the one that we started doing it on was our St. Joseph Boulevard, where we got a couple of updates. And I put a template in there, and so that will enable you to see how we envision the project at award, and then at the 50% level, and so on, so on. And I think it'll give you a good overview of the project as it goes. But just, I think you're right on the larger project.
Yeah, we don't need this in small.
No.
M. Lalonde.
So this would go for like any street project, like the street lighting thing. It would also grab projects like the new fire stations, and anything that has to do with big ticket items like that. Correct?
I've put it in for our particular department, but certainly if
I
other
think it should
departments
be
wish
across the board.
to do it. Yeah.
If council's in agreement with this, we're going to write a corporate policy, and it will apply to all projects,
Yeah.
right? And it was a result of the additional cost from the Laurier story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
So I would move to make a small amendment, Mr. Mayor, to include a corporate policy so that all major projects are covered, not just infrastructure.
Okay, hold up. So we're purchasing a grader, you want something like that to be followed at 50%? or-
No, that's
No.
No,
Well,
it's
you said all projects.
Work done.
work project.
Capital projects?
Yeah.
It's going to be your major projects like St. Joseph Boulevard, the waste treatment plant upgrade. As you go on with progress payments, we bring the regular
Yes.
updates to you.
Okay.
OK. OK. Tout le monde en faveur?
avec un ajout ou pas?
Avec l'ajout. Pour toutes les,
L'ajout, c'est quoi?
pour tous les gros projets de...
Including corporate, all departmental projects.
All departments.
Including all departments,
Projects.
Capital program.
Capital.
capital?
Yeah.
Okay.
Politique d'éclairage, M. Lalonde. André?
That report was number INF limited set to 043 in regards to the street lighting policy being received.
Secondé. M. Berlinguette. Question? Allez-y.
Mr. Darch, I guess this is you again. I know there's a lot of detail in the report, as specific, and we even have 4 various lights that have been installed here right next to giving us an idea of and I know there's a section on there to you call them the fancy lights, decorative lights. I do hope these will have will be a better fit for the city than the ones that we have on 98 that you know, as soon as you can't paint over them, you can't, so I'm hoping that's going to be addressed.
Okay.
I guess my major worry is that we just addressed like the heights of lights and the width of the light that covers within like a residential neighborhood versus like a regular street where you don't have any houses, like corner streets. I mean, to me, that's the worry with a project of this size. We just need to get it right. So you've identified those variables in the report, but to me, that's
where I would encourage members of council, read the report and feel free to contact us. And I think it's principally out of Richard's shop, but we'd like to get your comments on it, and then that's why we suggested tabling it for the month, allow you to ask your questions of it, and we can make any amendments based on those discussions, and then bring it back for formal approval. I think it was said, what, September 4th or something like that.
Maybe we could go for a walk after the meeting with Mr. Darch, since he's not working tomorrow, and he can show us the samples we've got.
I haven't even seen them.
Well, I tell you what, the first light, as you going on from Beauchamp, it's open, but you can barely tell it's a light. You can't see anything with that light. The other 3 have a more power to it, but the first one is just like a flashlight.
I will take a look.
It's like a flashlight.
This is that.
To me, for me, what's really important, and Dave, you and I have talked about this, and especially in my ward, I don't know if it's in anybody else's. We have a lot of narrow roads with very, very high lights that light up backyards, and I know he touched on that a little bit. To me, what's going to be important, whether it's switched to LED or not, to have some kind of direction to direct the light down. Those things are incredibly bright. I like them because that's the whole point, is you want to light up for security reasons at night. But I don't think we should be in the...
But I've seen some places where they have 2 side things on them, and it just...
and that's why we need some light direction in certain neighborhoods. So what he said is exactly it. When they go around doing this, it's not just a install them and go. It's really think through. The corners need brighter, like Monsieur Lalonde said, and the residential areas need to be controlled. So obviously
provide us your feedback. I know lighting has got to be very strategic on how you apply it and where you apply it.
Absolutely.
It's just not as simple as...
Robin is notorious for like the older parts of Robin.
I don't know what they were thinking of putting like hydro poles that you would put down the 417 in a residential area. Some of them are incredibly high. But anyway, so thank you.
Is there a reason in the urban collector road section, that's page, 54, we call it collectors, and we didn't mention Edwards as a collector?
Are the roads identified in there, like all the collectors?
Yeah. You got Laurier, Caron, Saint-Joseph, Dr. Corbeil, Landry, and Champlain. I thought La Violette, La Porte, and Edwards are collectors.
Saint-Jean is not there.
I'll have to look into that, and I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, Saint-Jean is a Condé road.
We like check that feedback. I just felt it was a fairly significant document. It wasn't quite fair to sort of give it to you in one meeting and say, give us a stamp of approval on it.
Okay.
I would suggest, just one comment, to take a maybe especially if you're looking at the lights here, to take a look at the color of the light more so than anything else. Other municipalities have gone through this process
the main complaint from residents or anybody looking at them is not, it sometimes seems like it's the wattage or the brightness of it, but more often than not, it's the color of the whiteness. You know, you change your bulbs at home, you get the yellowish lights, and then you get the white lights.
Yeah.
More often than not, that's the issue with the complaints coming in. The white bulbs seem to light up more. Okay, so that's, to me, that's the biggest decision to be taken, what type of bulbs or color we put down on our lights.
Well,
I have our thoughts.
Can we ask other municipalities what they've been through with this process?
We have.
Okay,
City
so
of
which
Ottawa
one?
started a few, and if you look in there,
Yeah.
there's kind of a
Oh,
graph.
yeah, that chart with the
graph.
color thing with the bars? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
City of Ottawa started at a certain brightness or color, and they've actually retrograded and stepped back. There's several other municipalities that have done the same mistake, if you want to call it like that. So a lot of them are toning back a little bit to a certain color. And if you look at these 4 lights here, you should be able to see different colors of the bulb.
I'd
That's
just like
the
to
main
learn-
thing that I wanted to expose here.
I'd just like to learn from their mistakes before we go back and redo
Exactly.
them all, so.
Exactly.
It comes down to my comment earlier, you know, you don't want people to walk down the street and have to carry a flashlight because the street light's not
Yes.
lighting
No,
up the street.
but-
And you don't want people have to wear
Sunglasses.
their sunglasses to people moving down the street at night.
A lot of these LED bulbs, if you look at them from afar, they look like they're not lit. But once you walk underneath it, well, you don't drive and look up at the bulbs, but if you were to, then it kind of blinds you a little bit. But that's the effect of the LED versus the traditional HPS that we.
Madame Simon?
Is there a possibility to use different, like colored bulbs in residential areas versus?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and that's what we'll most likely propose or do.
Richard, I haven't looked at the ones that are out there right now, but they're different colors.
Yes.
So you should maybe make note and pass comment on that.
Yeah.
Well, you see yourself when we go for a walk.
Caron is all LED, is another example. We don't have that many LEDs in Clarence Rockland. Caron is all LED, the part that we reconstructed from the highway right up to David is all LED. There's a small stretch from Rockland Ford to that funny looking bend going to Walmart. There's 4 or 5 lights there that are LED. Pretty well, all the lights going up La Bonté here, yeah, they're LED also. That's pretty well all we have right now.
It's very well lit, but the councillor still trips on the sidewalk.
In his defense, it was winter.
So leave it at that, but just from what we've read, what we've learned from other municipalities, it's mainly the color of the bulb that attracts the most comments or complaints.
Okay.
So thank you. That was the main purpose of these 4 lights here that we put up here. Thank you.
Autre question? OK. Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Service d'ingénierie pour le bassin de rétention, Caron.
Le rapport numéro INF 2017, c'est 54 sur le site.
Secondaire. M. Levert. Question?
Ça va coûter cher.
Yeah.
Ben, je vois pas si on va dans la plaine inondable à côté. Ça devrait être plus raisonnable. Je vois pas pourquoi on ne soit pas
Effectivement, parce que j'avais déjà parlé au ministère avec ça. Il y a définitivement une possibilité. Parce que sur l'autre côté, à l'ouest, ça n'était une plaine inondable, ça. Puis, rappelez-vous, si on commence à travailler dans ça, dans les garbage, là, ça va coûter une fortune.
Caron. It'd be cheaper to go into the flood area than go to the dump.
Well, actually,
We have to look at both. I know right now there's a feeling that the cheapest for us right now, because there's a design and cost done, would be on the west side, as long as we can build over the landfill site. If the ministry is amenable to that, then that probably will be the cheapest. But I've also heard that there could be a possibility of taking the water down that channel, crossing over to the east side, and going into the wetlands.
Yeah.
Again, any option that we choose, we have to document and have a supporting rationale and argument for the ministry to look at. They'll look at either way.
That's what they're doing at Cardinal Creek at the present time. You saw the big culvert crossing the 174. It's a what do you call a bassin de rétention, retain?
Yeah.
Water retention pond.
Stormwater management fund, or?
Yeah, that's what they have up there,
Yeah.
and it's going right in the river.
We're doing it right now.
Do
What's
we-
there? Well, what's there right now is actually diverting onto the west side and then going back onto the east side. And I
Yeah,
believe
it's
that
just-
what we had
it's just
started,
It's a temporary, it's not.
but it's temporary. But the fact that they allowed us to do it temporarily, and we've seen with all of the rain that we've had so far this year, it is maintained perfectly. We haven't had any issues with it. And I know it's probably more on the regulation side that they're worried about. But is there potential of them just allowing us to continue doing what we're doing now? It's working.
There's a potential, long as it meets the, I mean, with your stormwater ponds, you're both quality, quantity, and I know the ministry is going to be looking at the quality aspect. Discharging the stormwater from the developments, from Caron to that east side ultimately, is it getting the treatment it needs through the wetlands and satisfying their needs?
The wetland should purify the water better than anything. because
Yeah.
There's been projects done at Guelph University.
Yeah, I think there's logic to it. I guess all I'm saying to council, and one of the prime reasons for this report is we need to retain a consultant. We need to get moving on this because the ministry, the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And we're already, I think, starting to shift in that order in terms of the timelines, where I've already met with them and said, more than likely, this is going to have to be construction in 2018, whatever option we go with.
But if we go with the option that's there now, there's zero cost to it. It's already done. It's there.
It's conceivable. That seems a little
I
maybe
would just,
simplistic. But
I know, and I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
The thought of actually spilling $1 million in this makes my stomach turn.
I know.
I know it needs to be
Yeah.
done, but I would love to see if we can try to to push the ministry on understanding that what we have right now
Mhm.
works fine for that little stretch of road as far as
Yeah.
water is
Yeah.
concerned.
See, there's a couple elements to this project too. We have to deal with the whole landfill closure. That was never formally opened or closed, and they want to.
How can we formally close something that was never formally opened? That's the way I see it.
Not sure
No
the
point.
ministry shares that view.
Well,
But that's what
I don't share
that's
their
an
view.
exercise that we have to go through, and we're currently reviewing the plan that we received from our consultant on that, and we're going to marry that analysis with the stormwater analysis and see what's the most cost-effective way.
Because right now, using the dump option, if I'm going to call it that way.
You okay?
You're banking that the ministry's not going to say, that option only works if we don't have to remove anything.
Well-
Because otherwise, the most likely scenario is on the east side with.
It works if they say remove it. As I always say, it's nothing that money won't solve. It's
Yeah.
really, it's just going to be more costly. I'm really hoping that you could engineer, if that happened to be the cheapest, you could engineer a pond over the landfill, a clay liner or something like that, that would satisfy them.
This, to me, I think, to Councilor Zan's point, possibly, the best option is what we currently have, if we can get that accepted, and then Plan B is just using the wetlands.
Yeah.
Did we have a chance to sit down with Mike Sege, MOE supervisor for Eastern Ontario? He's at the Cornwall office. I think you people usually go to Steve Byrne.
Yeah,
But I met with Steve Byrne a couple times too.
Yeah.
And then they call Cornwall, and Cornwall, if they're not aware, you're not getting good report. Cornwall has to be made aware before it goes to Steve Burns.
They are though. When any time we have meetings with Steve Burns, he actually takes the initiative and calls in appropriate staff from Cornwall. So we're dealing with both Ottawa and Cornwall on this one.
What I'm afraid of is the dump site, the landfill site. I remember when they built a pumping station, sewage pumping station at the end behind Wallace Street.
Mm-hmm.
The smell coming out of there was unbelievable. The green bags are still in there, and it cost a fortune to build the station.
Yeah. I just want to do the most cost-effective thing that closes that landfill site once and for all and gets the required stormwater treatment.
You will let us know?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll keep you
Everybody, tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Stratégie pour amélioration au garage. M. Berlinguet.
Que le comité plénier recommande que le Conseil approuve le plan de travail d'amélioration du garage tel qu'indiqué dans le rapport numéro INF 2017-052.
Secondaire. M. Grimard. Question? Oui. M. André.
I was wondering, are we going to put an extension to the garage or just fixing this one or repairing?
I think right now, let me just look
I
at.
thought right now we're just fixing stuff.
Because I always wonder, all the equipment that cleans up the road in Rutland in wintertime, it comes from here, Clarence.
Yeah.
If we could have a satellite station for some of the equipment in Rutland, on top of the hill there.
This contemplates, and if you look at that breakdown of projects and costs on page 120, it contemplates a vehicle storage building. I think that's just a separate facility. That would work. But, you know, we would take a look at the feasibility of adding on. But that's something that we're going to do in 2018 because I think there's going to be a budget issue, so I'd like the council to.
Il ne faut pas oublier qu'en ayant le garage ici, les mécaniques sont toutes là, les machines sont toutes là.
C'est plus le 200 000, il manque à gagner de 200 000.
Puis quand ils partent d'ici, ben, ils nettoient également.
But we just felt that there's been funding for this over the years, a number of blocks, so we thought we should consolidate it and you know, Helen encouraged us to bring a report forward here, telling you how we're going to spend those monies.
André?
In the report, it states that it's a vehicle storage.
Yes.
I see, and I think everyone sees that in the yard, there's tremendous amounts of very expensive equipment that are just laying outside in the elements.
Yep.
So I was talking over with Bernie one night because we're just crossing paths, and he was explaining to me that what he wants to do is utilize the storage that he has with the dome during the summer to store the stuff that's winter related to be able. So will that facility that you guys want to build, you know, resolve all those that situation?
That's the intent.
Okay.
But we'll, you know, through the budget process when we're developing this number, and we'll be talking to Bernie. I want to know exactly what's going to be involved, and we'll let you know that through the.
And if there's with the lighting project, if there's any monies left over, I know part of it is going to do all the lights in the arena, to change, switch to LED.
Yeah, there's some.
You have a lot of lights in that garage, Mr. Darch, that would probably benefit switching over to more efficient lighting. So not sure if your 15,000 that you put on there is going to be enough. Like
Can we stick to the garage there?
Well, that's, yeah, there's a $15,000 amount for lighting improvements, so I just want to make sure that.
OK. Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Projection de croissance résidentielle et non résidentielle.
Monsieur le maire, j'aimerais juste amener un point qu'à 10h30, on a besoin de passer un nouveau règlement, ou on peut dire, if there's anything not urgent that needs to go to today, could be diverted to the next meeting. That's also an option.
9.12 is urgent.
Yeah, 9.12. I'm just putting it out there.
There's not that many. We'll see how fast it goes. Projection de croissance résidentielle, non résidentielle. M. Levert.
Attends, les lois de redevance d'aménagement de 1997 exige qu'une municipalité complète une étude pour permettre la collecte des redevances d'aménagement et que la municipalité approuve une projection de croissance pour le développement des frais de redevance. Attendu que les services de la cité ont besoin d'une projection de croissance pour appuyer leur planification, exemple, plan maître de transport, plan maître de loisirs, redevance d'aménagement par conséquent, que le comité plénier recommande que le Conseil approuve la projection de la croissance résidentielle à un taux moyen de 175 unités résidentielles et que le comité plénier recommande aussi que le Conseil approuve la projection de croissance pour le développement non résidentiel à 33 000 pieds carrés par année pour les 5 prochaines années, tel que recommandé.
Secondé. M. Lalonde. Question? Oui.
The development charge study that's mentioned in, is it your plan to have it passed, repassed through this council before the end of 2018, or it would be something that would probably pass in 2019 with the newer council? I see a lot of laughs, so I'm not sure how to take that one, but.
Give it to Mr. Keogh, it'll last till 2020.
I have to defer to my Director of Finance and Economic Development on this particular topic and our management team, and we haven't agreed on when we should get this project off. So we will be bringing a report before year end as to when the project, when the new development charge study will go through. Council is able to review their development charge study at any given point in time. The Development Charge Act says you must review your study at a minimum every 5 years. You could do it once a year if you wish, like the budget. There's a cost to that because we have to hire a consultant to come in and redo all of the calculations. So we need to have another debate with all the directors present to decide if we're in the process. So we're starting, as I said in my work plan, we're starting to gather data. This is a huge part of the data collection.
Are there amendments that could be passed to switch things around instead of having a full-blown study? And what limits us with that respect?
One big amendment is your growth projects.
Yeah.
So as all your projects change in cost, it affects the rates. So you have to recalibrate your rates.
If you're going to impact the rate, you have to open the study. If you're going to change a policy, that's a different issue, as we discussed, looking at the development charges in the downtown core. So that report's coming as well. It just didn't make it to this council. Okay? So policy changes, okay, but actual amending the charge, you cannot.
Okay.
Pas de questions? Tout le monde en faveur? Est-ce que vous voulez continuer? Il reste vraiment 3 items. On a fini.
Il reste 2 items, on a différé. Ah non, gestion des actifs.
Oh, on a oublié de différer.
On va différer. On arrive là.
C'est juste que 9.12 va prendre beaucoup de temps aussi.
9.11 a été différé.
OK. Donc on continue pour les items. Finir ça. Quelques minutes. Plan de gestion des actifs, c'est quelque chose qu'on a tous passé à travers, je pense, avec Julien.
Le comité plénier recommande au Conseil d'adopter le programme de gestion des actifs tel que recommandé dans le rapport FIN 2017-044.
Secondé. Suzanne, question? Allez-y.
Man, pas nécessairement que. Mr. Darch, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with this plan the way it is now. I think the whole road issue for me is a sticking point.
You missed the last word. I didn't hear you.
A sticking point.
Sticking
Sticking point.
It's a sticking point. Road, if I
Yeah,
may jump in, because I
yeah.
have troubles with this too, and in theory it makes sense. Maintaining the roads that are almost at that, bad level to keep them in good shape. But then the ones that are in horrible shape, it'll take 15 years before we even get to that. That's where I have issues.
Not necessarily. Is that the concern?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, I know I'm not the only one.
What you want to do is you've got limited funding. Your $2.5 million is limited. You've got to do a lot of things, bridges and roads and culverts and all that. So you want to give a priority to tracking the condition of your road. And I'll just zero in on roads for now because they're the easiest to follow. So they follow that deterioration curve. So you have your minimum acceptable standard. As you approach that, you want to implement a strategy at that time, okay? Because it's cheaper there than to let it go below into that area. So that makes sense. That's your just-in-time philosophy. But I agree, you've got roads that are gone beyond. They're reconstructs. And I think I don't think you just totally ignore those. But I think what you want to do is you want to be selective. That's where you're going to deal more with what I call bridging strategies. The scratch code program that everybody seems to like, and that's for a lot of roads. They're on roads that are shot, and so you buy yourself some time. The other thing that we're looking at, though, is that you may find in some of those roads that have already gone is that there's some underground infrastructure. So you may be able to use infrastructure funding sources which are different than your 2.5 million tax base, which allows you to do a large part of a road project, but fund it out of that. Like, for example, if you have a water main, you're going to have to dig down, you're going to probably rip out almost all of your road in installing that water main. So you could fund a large part of that out of a water reserve.
Well, and that's all.
That doesn't apply for her, though.
No, exactly for any.
No, I know that, yeah. But I think for those roads that have just gone below, I'm not suggesting we're just going to leave those. But you
But it
can't.
could take 12 years to save up to before you even get to there.
Yeah, but by the same token, I would not recommend council adopt a worst first policy, because you cannot afford that. It's $3 million a kilometer to reconstruct versus, getting into around 250 or something like that for shave and pave. So you can do a lot. You get a lot bigger bang for your dollar, and you've got to protect as much of your asset base as you can. But I think that's when we bring the plan forward, and I guess I'm hoping council adopts the principles here and let us bring the plan forward, and we'll show you how. We'll deal with the just-in-times, and we'll also have strategies about dealing with the roads that have gone beyond.
Well, and as a councillor, okay, I see it makes sense.
Yeah.
But to a resident who sees a road in, even if it's Clarence Creek, that's in a fair to medium condition, getting redone, as opposed to one of their roads that doesn't have as much traffic, but it'll get delayed, it'll get pushed, and it won't get done. Try and justify that to them, and that's where I have the issue.
There's no question there's some difficult concepts that people have to come to grips with. But that's what happens when you have a funding source and it's limited. You want to use it in the best way possible. So you want to direct as much of your funding towards the just-in-time. Let it deteriorate to your minimum acceptable level, and you trigger in with a cost-effective strategy. I mean, you're going to get people, and I think I've seen this happen when we've implemented in other areas. They're going to say, well, gee, you're doing road X and look at my road Y, and it's a lot worse condition. Well, it's gone past its best before date. So, you can do something with it, but that's where you're going to look at bridging strategies, as they call them. You're going to have to. It's a real concept that has to be accepted.
Well, there was that. There was also, if I may, one more last one, between urban and rural. There's, if you look at urban, there's more population. There's more people that are going to travel those roads. So of course those roads are going to get done first. But then on the urban side, it almost has to be a separate asset management plan, one for rural area and one for urban, in my opinion.
Well, that's what I had suggested to Julian when I had seen him. I said, you can't treat it all in the same thing, because the money that you can, and you and I had talked about this, the money that you can spend doing how many roads in Rockland will be gone on one road in a rural setting.
I think we've been doing a good amount of ratio.
You're absolutely right, and right now, but it will change with this adoption of a new plan, which is what I'm a little worried about.
Yeah.
And if it was split between rural and urban, and you can say, and even the rural, I don't mind getting more money just because the roads are a lot longer than they are in the urban sector. But if we just adopt this and you just go with this process, Rockland, for example, being the major center of the city, won't be seeing any roads being paved for a very long time if we're just going to focus everything on the rural sector.
Or might see way more in the rural.
Or might see way more and then,
It's-
yeah.
Madam Collier?
City of Ottawa has a huge portion of rural and a large urban core, obviously. And they have a very well-developed asset management plan. So we'll consult them and see how they've handled this, because City of Ottawa, as you may or may not be aware, actually have a rural subcommittee of council to handle rural issues. So I'm 99% sure they've had to address this, and we'll just see if they have some ideas that help us address that. So I think there'll be a solution there.
Thank you.
So should we table this then until they get the input?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Yep. Calendrier pour l'exercice budgétaire 2018. Je suis là.
Le calendrier pour la préparation du budget 2018 soit adopté tel que présenté dans le rapport numéro FIN 2017-026 et que les dates suivantes soient établies pour la délibération du budget 2018 proposé. 7 novembre 2017, 8 novembre 2017, 9 novembre 2017, 15 novembre 2017, si nécessaire, 16 novembre 2017, si nécessaire.
Secondé. Suzanne, question?
Moi, je ne peux pas le 15 et 16 novembre, c'est sûr.
C'est pas nécessaire.
Je vais juste vous dire, si c'est nécessaire.
Moi, je suis correct avec le 7, 8, 9.
Je suis correct avec le 7, 8, 9, moi aussi.
OK. Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. L'entente de la réunion de Clarence Martin et le CIH, je crois qu'on va différer parce que on a eu une réunion avec M. Bourdeau hier. Il va y avoir d'autres informations nécessaires pour toute la situation. Donc, c'est ramené au mois de septembre, la première réunion.
OK, merci.
On diffère. Différé. Tout le monde en faveur? Oui. M. Grimard a proposé, M. Zant a secondé, tout le monde est en faveur. East-West Collector, est-ce qu'on a quelque chose là-dessus?
Oui, les rapports sont là.
On a eu ce soir.
Do you want me to read? The Committee of the Whole recommends the Council approves the location of the proposed east-west collector as per ACOM's plan, and that the City undertake a transportation study to determine the proper design of the collector with recommendations in regards to assess the amount of lots on the said road. And that space builders undertake to reduce the number of lots and accesses on the collector, and that the collector be designed with a 26-meter right-of-way, and that Sterling Avenue continues south of the collector. This
Secondé. M. Verlinguette, question, M.
Okay.
I don't, I was there at the meeting.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
presided.
recall half these things
Me neither.
being.
Sorry?
I was pretty sure that we had said yes to the 26 meters because
Yes.
space builders needed to move. They needed to move forward with the plan.
Correct.
We did not discuss. Well, we actually didn't even discuss number of lots facing the road because that was depending on whether
What they're doing on corners, they're gonna switch over
on
to
the
the side
corners.
streets. Yeah.
Okay, corners
that
were
was-
switched.
Good.
We said we were going to meet with them with a view to reducing the number of,
Okay,
And they said they had no
Yeah.
problem.
okay.
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 But as far as the
the alignment of the collector was a big, yeah. That-
so
when I
we're just
read
talking
that-
about the east-west collector, just that,
Just the name. I
just the
think.
phase 5 portion. We're not even talking about the one that's gonna go
Yeah.
west. We're
We
not
would
talking
have,
about
we'd
that.
have to do a study for the balance I think what the issue is not agreeing to the alignment. It's just
No.
Well,
looking at the feasibility of
A,
the.
a study was done in
alignment.
2005. I
Mhm.
believe
Yeah, but
Marie-Ève
I
did
think we
say.
said we were gonna make, we did agree to make another study, and then the city would pay with the development
Yeah,
charges
yeah.
to put
Okay.
the whole thing together.
Sorry, I would share.
We agreed on
The
the,
resolution was just so that the developer could continue, to give him some guidelines. so
Yeah.
he could continue.
There's
Correct.
more than what we agreed in there that we did not agree to.
Correct.
I'm sorry, but there's some stuff in there that we never agreed at aménagement.
Well, the transportation study, we agreed.
I agree.
Yes.
The Sterling continuing down south, we never agreed on that. We bypassed that for sure.
Ça n'a jamais été discuté, ça.
The Sterling
And
Avenue
we were
continuing.
even at discussing, is this a collector?
Well, I know we got into debate about terminologies.
And we, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna mention, our plan, urban, or like our planning plan, you know what I'm talking about? And it's just look, it's past 10:30, I'm kidding. Our official plan, thank you.
Let him go.
Our official plan
Let him go.
actually has in there a definition of what is a collector. I checked with Marie-Ève, and she said, yes, we do know what makes a collector, a minor collector, a major collector, so.
I'm pretty sure it's actually in this report.
So, and I know that you had said we still don't know.
Maybe I've missed that, but I've
Okay.
never seen a definition.
But anyways, we could call it whatever we want. We approved the 26 meters. That's what Mr. Pave wanted.
Yeah.
Right. Can
Yeah.
I let go?
It-
Uh, No, I think it has to be said in a public meeting. We base the fact that we need a collector road on a report that's dated 12 years ago, that has never seen Dr. Corbeil on the map installed the way it is. And we discussed at aménagement that if you only take County Road 17, Laurier Street, and the new east-west collector as your east-west principal street, you forgot Dr. Corbeil, and you surely forgot Baseline Road, which is further south. These two streets have never been put into consideration, so I, personal belief, and I believe the traffic study will help us, and I totally agree with that. I believe that if we look down the road, Baseline Road will definitely be a collector 4-lane, because your report states that now we need to have a 4-lane with sidewalks and bike paths. This will never fit in a 26 meter. It won't. You need a minimum of 30. So now we're saying in one side, let's agree to 26 so the developer can start, but in the back end of this report saying, no, we need a collector, and a collector is this. So I personally believe that the traffic study will tell us some results, but I firmly believe that there's no need to have such a big road in a residential area like that when you have Caron, when you have Dr. Corbeil, you have Saint-Jean that's going to be modified a bit because of Brigitte coming in. And now I've looked at the map and we have Héritage Street that is 4-lane that stops at the bottom of the hill climbing towards Brigitte. What are we going to do with this road? That's another great north-south
Well,
street.
see, that's where the study would really come in.
Well, and I agree with you, Mr. Mayor, but they're asking us to agree to things that we didn't agree at aménagement, so I just want to make sure.
You're not reading the right report.
I've got the report right here, 10-page long.
It's the last one that I attached.
It's the recommendation.
Which one?
I'm reading aménagement 17-17-4 R for revised. So, unless I'm wrong.
There was a reason why Héritage didn't continue then.
Sorry?
There was a reason why Héritage didn't continue. It had to do
Well,
with
we
the
can't say that that was the right decision.
wetlands and that kind of. It is a 4-lane road that leads to nowhere.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have no problems with 26 meters.
Well, it's not gonna be a collector then.
No, but can I say, well,
Okay,
I think we're going way beyond what the point of this resolution was. The point of this resolution was to require the builder to allow a minimum of 26 meters, whether that's what the road finding will be, but to allow this planning, that in case this does become a collector, he will have allowed for it. It doesn't mean that we're making that collector. All that discussion about whether it's based on, that's a different discussion. This is just allowing.
Read the first paragraph, Shao.
Sterling Avenue continues south.
Read it.
The location of the proposed east-west collector.
Oh.
But that it's worded wrongly there, but the point of this was just to say, space builders must undertake to do this and that. So that in case it does become the collector. If it doesn't become the collector.
First of all,
we're gonna decide if it becomes a collector, right? We're gonna decide if it becomes a collector.
Well, we've already given the okay to go 26 feet.
I agree, but according to the report, you say, okay, let's find out if it is a collector, and then we say, okay for 26. You can't have a proper collector with 26 meters. According to their report, they say they need 30 meters for a collector. to have 4 lanes, sidewalks and bike paths. So you're asking us to agree on 26.
We had said 26 was okay at the.
But it won't be a collector as per the report then.
But there are major collectors and minor collectors. If you look at Des Épinettes, is a perfect example of a medium collector in Orleans that is probably 26, if not less. And it serves the purpose. I think we're getting lost on the term collector. Let's just call it a road. It's just a road. It's 26 meters of a road. We're asking them to turn some properties, and that's it. Let's forget about the term collector until we link to the west and give them the study.
So what, change collector into just road?
Just road.
Put road for now.
It shouldn't be called a collector until we know what it collects.
I thought we had.
I disagree that Sterling should continue down south after
I
that.
thought they had discussed that. Okay.
But yeah, we should remove that.
There's also a point that they discussed that Aménagement was trying, because I know one of the points that the administration saying that there was too many not car entrances, but roads that only had 3 intersections.
Yeah, the number of intersections.
The number of intersections.
Yeah.
So if there's any possibility for the developer to maybe, forego one or whatever and realign something that would work for them, I think that should be discussed with them. The other thing is, and we're down maybe to the smaller details here for the final, what it's going to look like, but with 26 meters, you're not going to get 2 sidewalks and 2 bike lanes and all that kind of nice stuff. It's not going to be wide enough.
You are.
Corbet has got.
You're gonna get the.
Or Dr. Hardy.
So just make sure we don't repeat the same mistakes we did on call and having that elevated bike lane, and make sure that you have enough room for snowplow operations so that your snowplow guy doesn't fight with the sidewalk guy on where to put the snow. I think that's important to know.
The things that I remember at this meeting is the 26-meter right-of-way. I think that was agreed to. Meeting with space builders to see about minimizing the number of entrances and seeing that. And then maybe what's giving problem here with the wording, we're saying approve this alignment. So if we can just say we're going to do a study for an east-west road
What we
system.
discussed about Sterling is, if I remember right now, Sterling, they said they had to bring the pipes down Sterling, and they had to align Sterling so that they could bring their pipes down to that new road. So maybe that's why. Right? Yeah, for the water and the sewers, I think that's why the Sterling is mentioned as aligning.
I agree with 2, 3, and 4. I disagree with the wording in 1, and I want to remove 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once the transportation study is done, we're going to be coming back to you, and it might bring a whole other pile of suggestions to you, right? So what you're suggesting would make sense with what I learned about the meeting through various conversations with people. So,
But Sterling, if we put not the collector, continues south to the main road. Because he needs that, if I remember right, to bring his main water.
The collector says here that Sterling should continue past that road, that main road.
I think so.
And I don't think we should do that. I think we should take that off
Take it
the
out.
board.
take it out
It's not.
until the
There.
She's saying it, that should keep going.
Right, so no, that's not. The plan here, it stops at the new.
But
But
she's
they need-
saying that it should continue.
Right, so I agree with taking that.
So we should take that off.
Well, just mark that we stop at the main road, so that he can bring his main, water main.
That's the way it is. We just disagree with what's there and we go with this preliminary plan.
Yeah, no problem.
So we'll take number
I
5.
think
Est-ce que tu es en train
it might be
de dire dans
to
le
the
la phrase de
collector.
Sterling Avenue continue
I think-
south of the
Yeah,
collector?
yes.
Okay, c'est bon.
It could be just a word.
Pour appuyer ça.
It might be just a word thing and say continue south to the collector.
Well, it's already in the plan. But the department wants it to continue south of the collector. That's why they put it.
Faut voter sur enlever le Sterling. Après ça, on va voter sur l'autre amendement.
D'accord.
OK?
On enlève la ligne.
Tout le monde en faveur d'enlever south of Sterling.
OK, juste cette partie-là.
Oui.
OK.
Puis là,
L'autre, vous l'enlevez, c'est la
L'autre
première.
chose, vous voulez amender.
Ouais,
que
le
tu
numéro 1,
proposes
moi je suis
un
pas
rapport.
d'accord parce que c'est un rapport de 2005. On devrait
L'autre,
pas
ça n'a
se-
jamais été approuvé.
C'est pour ça que je vous dis que
Moi,
je suis pas d'accord que ça soit là.
OK, on enlève le premier.
So take
Propose
number
qu'on
1
enlève
also.
le premier paragraphe.
One's out, Sterling's out.
Correct.
The only thing on that, then I guess the first result will be is that you're going to do transportation study to determine what
The study is staying, it's just, the study is staying.
but what's it studying, I guess?
So your transportation study is gonna evaluate the main roads.
It's going to evaluate the alignment of an east-west roadway and how that's going to look in terms of access. So you're going to look at alignment, and you're going to look at the composition.
I think what the builder proposed to us is well aligned, that's what I'm saying.
It may be, but I'm not sensing a support for the, what's in the official plan right now.
Well, your ACOM was never approved.
Yeah, so, and that were taken out.
Okay, that's
But
what I'm saying.
you still want to take a look at an east-west collector system.
In my opinion, that street should not be a collector, and that's
Which
what I'm
street?
telling council tonight.
You're talking about the one through
The
phase
the
5?
current road that's on the preliminary drawing.
On phase 5.
On phase
Take
5.
phase 5 out of it. Do you want to take a look at an east-west collector?
Yes.
Okay, and I think that's my point.
Perfect.
So then, the first be it resolved can be that we undertake a transportation analysis to determine the alignment of an east-west roadway, and then how that roadway is going to look in terms of its
Excuse me,
family.
he's talking. Somebody's talking.
I can't hear, so.
I can't hear it
The
either.
alignment,
Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
I'll tell you what I think. Is that you're gonna take that first one out, and then then the direction will be the city undertakes a transportation study to determine the alignment of an east-west roadway. So it doesn't mean it necessarily goes through phase 5. And then you're gonna take a look with recommendations with regard to accesses and its fabric, its makeup. So that means they may do this study and say baseline's it.
Okay,
I think you just want all the options considered.
correct. Are you gonna include the, we can't talk about that, sorry. Good.
Does that make sense, or?
Yeah, let's go
Okay,
with
so
that.
then the
If
city
everybody's happy with that, let's vote on that.
je vais juste le lire pour être certain que vous votez ce que vous voulez. Là. The city undertakes a transportation study to determine the alignment of an east-west roadway with recommendations in regards to access and the amount of lots on the said road.
Yes.
That's fine.
And that space builder undertake to reduce the number of lots and accesses on the collector.
On the road.
On the road.
On the roadway,
Okay,
Their development.
Main road.
on the main road.
Main road.
I'm sorry, but our first thing is saying that the roadway should be considered for an east-west. We want a collector.
Two things.
There's two different things there that is not highlighted in this
How
recommendation.
about,
So it's not right.
is there merit, Mr. Darts, in just saying, you're, for the core area of Rockland, the urban core, you're doing a transportation study, that's it. It includes north, south, east, west. That way you cover all your bases, and then you let the analysis come through, and then we can adapt.
Well, we want to make sure that they include a collector somewhere in there.
Well, when you do a transportation study, that it's within that. So
Are you
if they
sure about
decide
that?
Well, if they decide that we need a collector, then we need a collector.
So we don't have to give them direction. We just say, do a traffic study, and away they go.
For the urban core of Rockland,
Based on the official plan.
based on the official plan and based on what we know is coming down the pipeline.
We're already doing that. Because we
Okay.
already had funds approved to do the overall, redo that 2005 study.
Okay.
This specific study would feed into the big overall one.
Correct.
Because we just wanted to identify what roadways are required for phase 5 expansion.
So devil's advocate, why do you need the two of them when if the one that was you, the
Well-
revised 2005, wouldn't that do the entire thing?
Well, whatever we learned from this study, and when we had approved the updating of the 2005 study, this was not in the works yet. So the information we gather from here will feed into that other study.
Because they do the same for Keys off Island.
But
It's,
it might
it's
not
like
be
a-
done in time, like to do the whole study, you might not have that done as fast as they want it done.
We
I
need
don't
to
know
have
about
the
that.
study completed so that they can move ahead with
I
their
understand
project.
that.
So whatever it takes to get the study done so we can approve it and they can move forward with the project.
Don't forget, this is just the plénière, so we
Yeah.
haven't approved it yet.
Yeah, but we still need the correct wording so that staff can do
Are
it.
we okay with the wording that Mr. Darch gave us?
Nope.
No, because council.
No.
Okay. What do we want?
On se fait dessus?
No, we don't, we just phrase it, I agree you want a traffic study for that area, but we want to identify a collector, not the one that's there to see if it's a collector or not, but we want to identify a good potential collector for the next 25 years, let's say. Where should it be?
East-west?
East-west.
Okay.
Now, if they come back and they say, hey, it's not baseline, it's a new road, then we'll consider it.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Correct, but you only said roadway, so.
So are you putting
Yeah, I'm
that?
trying to avoid the adjectives because it means different things to different people.
Okay, well, as long as you give them direction that we're open-minded for a collector
Yeah.
and look south, because
Yeah.
that's where we're going, right? And define a collector, please. That'd be great.
We are
Well,
going
we
to,
have
we are
to
going to
work-
define principal road, arterial, major,
Okay.
minor, collector,
Super.
you name it.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay,
You happy
so
with that?
the resolution that I have right now, if it's correct, that the city undertakes a transportation study to determine the alignment of an east-west collector with recommendations in regards to access and the amount of lots on the said road. And that space builders undertake to reduce the number of lots and accesses on the main road. And that the collector be designed with 26-meter right-of-way.
Fini.
OK? Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Daniel, il y a une lumière clignotante à côté de Tim Horton pour tourner à gauche.
Ah, c'est vrai. Il n'y a pas de résolution de la...
Il n'y avait pas rien.
La raison que je l'ai mis là, c'est que il y a plusieurs personnes qui ont appelé. Lorsqu'ils s'en viennent du Walmart, ou bien donc de Rutland Ford, toute cette section-là, puis j'étais surpris, le monde de la rue Cécile qui est là, puis Élie, ils s'en viennent de là, puis après ça, ils prennent le 17 de la porte. Ça fait que quand ils arrivent au coin de la porte et puis Laurier, là, il n'y a pas de lumière pour tourner à gauche. Ça fait que tout je demandais, moi, c'est un flasher, au lieu de mettre de rajouter une autre lumière. Richard nous disait que ça coûtait à peu près 5 000 $ pour la lumière. Mais là, la lumière qui est verte, elle va flasher comme celle qui est au coin d'Edward et puis Laurier.
Faire un tourner à gauche.
I honestly
Pour
don't
tourner à
understand.
gauche.
When you're coming from Ford, you want to turn left on the Tim Horton, you get a flash.
Oh, it's an advanced green.
Advanced green.
That's, okay, thank you, now I
Because
understand.
on Edwards and the County Road, they may change the light to put only turning like Caron with an arrow, because the OPP has asked for it, because there's been accidents. So they're gonna put an arrow for turning left at the Mr. Gas, and when it's, or turning the other side. And when it's the light, the arrow is off, there won't be any turning.
So why would we put a flashing one then if they're taking the?
Well, it's not the same road.
It's not the same road, but it's the same principle. It's all in that mean, isn't it?
No.
Busy,
No.
no.
Seventeen.
It's on the E, yeah.
17.
The
But
one that
the one we're
flashes, so
doing-
you're talking about is the view that they want to take about, right? Take off and turn.
Yeah, but when, after it's finished flashing and it's green, you can turn on that light.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna stop that. OPP has recommended because there's been too many accidents.
Okay, so,
Donc,
Mr.
est-ce qu'on est en faveur que Richard regarde la possibilité de ça?
Ouais,
Fait qu'il y
regardez
avait
la possibilité.
Regarde la
rapport
possibilité,
pour
ouais.
la mettre sur le
Ouais.
conseil.
Okay.
Y a quelqu'un qui veut
Ajoute
proposer
le
ça?
maître.
Moi, proposer, oui.
Puis quelqu'un pour m'appuyer?
Bienvenue, M. Berlinguet, tout le monde en faveur, merci. Ajoute le maître à 11h03.